Are you a fan of Spider-Man? So am I. Um, Unfortunately, something that's like the purview of every Spider-Man fan is hating Spider-Man. Like nobody hates him quite like Spider-Man fans do. Whether that's hating his games or hating his movies or hating his comics or whatever. And it seems like it's the only character where that's accepted because we seem to all have something of an agreed upon standard when it comes to that character. And just we just don't usually get that. And now that the home trilogy is over and we have a release date and a title for the next Spider-Man movie being Brand New Day, um, there's a little bit to talk about. Like Sadie Sink is being cast in it. They're looking for a 30 to 50-year-old Asian American male to be in the film as well, so we can kind of get the gist of what we're kind of going for there. It's possible that Sadie Sink might be playing Jackpot. I don't think she's going to be playing like the real Mary Jane. I don't think that they're going to do something like that. Um, but the interesting thing is that it looks like they're trying to cast somebody to play Mr. Negative, who was introduced in the Brand New Day era of the Spider-Man comics. For anyone that's unaware, um, Brand New Day is a it's like an arc, I guess you could say, that followed the One More Day story. And in that story, One More Day, during the events of Civil War, there's a lot to explain anything. Spider-Man revealed his identity after joining Iron Man's side during Civil War. And after this time, um, Kingpin tried to have Peter killed. The sniper missed and hit Aunt May instead. Uh, Peter was like, I'm gonna kill you, Kingpin, if my aunt dies. There's this whole crazy thing. Um, but Peter and MJ made a deal with Mephisto to save to save Aunt May, and it cost him his marriage. It was really stupid. And that's why for a long time in the late aughts and pretty much the whole 2010s, Peter and MJ were not together in any significant capacity in the comics, and that even ran into the Zeb Wells run for quite a while. But Brand New Day is the story that came after that, where Peter's kind of in a whole different version of reality as a result of basically the wish that he made. And I think that Brand New Day is an interesting and somewhat appropriate title for this next movie, considering that No Way Home was kind of One More Day-ish in its nature. You know, there's a lot of magic involved, Doctor Strange is involved, Aunt May gets killed because everybody knows, well, not because of everybody knowing, but also everybody does know Peter Parker's identity. He basically makes a wish at the end to fix it all, and we're in basically a whole new world for him. So I think that Brand New Day is a fine title. I don't expect it to be a direct adaptation of what happens in the Brand New Day story, just like I didn't expect Captain America Civil War to be a proper adaptation of Civil War, and it wasn't. Just like Infinity War didn't properly adapt Infinity War, you know? It's just like, we're gonna borrow ideas and themes from this here and run with it. Same with like X-Men Days of Future Past, it's fine. Um, but there's a lot to look forward to, you know? It took 6 hours of movie, but we did eventually get to a place where Spider-Man is, you know, just as miserable as Spider-Man fans always want him to be. He's by himself, he's broke, he's gonna have to do something to make ends meet so he can pay rent. Um, all of that stuff is pretty standard Spider-Man affair, and it's a pretty good place to build on. He's going into college at the end of that movie, so we'll probably see him at ESU in this next one. As far as what to expect, what we could do from there, it's really anyone's guess. One thing that I was disappointed with when it comes to No Way Home is that it seems like because of that movie, we can't get like a proper MCU version of Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, because what's Peter supposed to do if he meets someone named Dr. Otto Octavius? He's gonna know something's up, right? Like, what he experienced is going to ruin him for Max Dillon, Dr. Kurt Connors, Norman Osborn, split Marco, you know, like it just doesn't work anymore. But that's okay, because now that we're in, you know, this multiverse era of the MCU, there's still the Inheritors. We could do Moreland if we wanted to. Like I mentioned a little while ago, we could do what's his name? We could do Mr. Negative. We could add Yuri Watanabe and get around to doing Wraith. We could do the Scorpion, who was teased at the end of the first movie and then never popped up again. We could do the Rhino. We could do Hydro Man or Molten Man, but probably not, because of like the fake pseudo versions of them from Far From Home. There's still a lot of options, I would say. We could still do like Tombstone. What I would want is like a grounded era for the Spider-Man films here now. I don't really want any more multiverse stuff. I would like to focus on street crime. I would like to see Kingpin, Hammerhead, Tombstone, Silvermane, guys like that, you know. But I am optimistic. I would like to see Peter be a bit older in this movie. I mean, Tom Holland is gonna be 29 this year, right? He's 3 years older than me. He's the same age as my brother, so he'll be 29 this year, which means that by the time that movie comes out, he'll be 30, right? I don't want a 30-year-old man playing a 19-year-old college student. I want him to be like into his college career. Yes, Tom Holland does still look quite young, but he doesn't look like a teenager anymore, you know? He looks like he's in his 20s because he is. So Peter Parker should be in his 20s. He should have long hair. He should have his confident, somewhat arrogant personality that he gets from the comics. That's another, like, that one thing that I really don't like about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is that it convinced everybody, even people like my dad who've been reading Spider-Man comics for decades, it convinced so many people that Peter Parker should just be nerdy all the time, even after he gets bit. Like, Peter is picked on in the comics in those early days, not because he's a nerd, but because he's an asshole. He's the smartest kid in every class, and he knows it, and he flexes his intelligence to make other people feel inferior and to be a bit of a bully himself. You know, Peter also has anger management issues. He's very quick to anger. He has arrogance, but he also has a lot of pain. And hopefully, now that Iron Man is dead, and now that it seems like his entire ties to the MCU up to that point are gone, maybe we can focus more on that, on Peter Parker's actual character, because that wasn't really a focus in the first two movies. So what I want to see is a Peter Parker who's maybe 24, you know? Maybe he's like going for his master's degree, you know? I know it would be a crazy time skip to have him be so much older, but I really don't want anything that happens in these next two Avengers movies to impact Spider-Man Brand New Day. I know that it's coming out in between those movies. I understand that. I can respect that. But, with respect, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel came out in between Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp took place right before / at the same time as Infinity War, and Captain Marvel took place 24 years before, you know? So I think it would be fine if this movie takes place after and just doesn't address what happens in those movies at all. I think that's the best way to go. Have it be completely separated from what's going on there. Because, like, he's filming a lot of... Like, Tom Holland's filming, like, 4 movies over the next year. So he's going to be really busy. He's probably going to have a somewhat reduced role in Avengers Doomsday anyway, for the purpose of focusing more on Spider-Man Brand New Day. So just ignore the Avengers movies and just set this way after. I want to see a Peter Parker who's in his 20s, who's like, I don't know, have him working. You can't really have him working for the Daily Bugle because you went like the Alex Jones InfoWars route with him, or with it, but there's still options. Like, you could have him, I don't know, doing something. Have him just working a regular job of some kind. Give him his photography passion, though. Let him take some pictures. That would be nice. I don't know. I just want the Spider-Man movie to focus on Peter Parker. and not so much just focusing on Spider-Man. You know, like Peter was wearing the Spider-Man suit for like 65% of No Way Home. I want to see a little bit more Peter Parker this time. I don't know, you saw a lot of his face last time, but that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I don't necessarily want any other heroes to show up unless we're doing a little Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends action. We've got Firestar and Iceman at his college. That I'd be okay with. I'd be totally cool with Iceman popping up. Because he is one of my favorite X-Men, and he went criminally underrated in the live-action films. But it's like, I don't know. We have a very unique situation here. Tom Holland's the first Spider-Man to get a 4th movie. And it's not really a surprise. I mean, the Marvel machine is unstoppable, and his trilogy was wildly successful, with 2 of the 3 making over $1 billion. All of that is sick. And obviously I'm optimistic about more Spider-Man content. I want this movie to be good. I'm gonna go see it when it comes out, if I'm still alive. I don't know why I said that, but I don't know. I guess I kind of just want to like pass it off to you guys. Like, what do you hope to see, or what are your expectations with this 4th Spider-Man movie? Do you want to see people like Gwen Stacy or Felicia Hardy? Do you want to see like Cindy Moon or something like that? Like what do you guys hope comes of this next movie? And please do not say Miles Morales. I do not want to see Miles Morales in this movie, but I would not be surprised if they pull that. But it's also strange because they like MCU Peter is Miles but white. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Oh, I gotta get better at this YouTube thing. Like, I haven't asked you, like, I didn't ask you to like check out my Patreon. I didn't ask you to like or subscribe this whole time. I'm rusty, okay? I'm rusty. I'll get back to it, I promise.